Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Hey everyone, I'm Jeanette.
I'm Josh.
I'm Tiffany.
And tonight we're discussing 911 Lodestar. And then, so first, our 911, what are we on? Season 5, episode 14, called Dumb Luck, which I loved how they kept tying that into the show, kept saying it over and over. But I mean, that scene, dumb luck or not, man, Lucy kicked butt this time. I was like, wow, that was cool.
I think that was the highlight of this, maybe part of this season.
Yeah, definitely.
That's like a once in a lifetime save right there.
No, when they were showing the replay, even I think when they were, what was it? I think Jimmy and they were in the hospital and it was showing it on the TV, and you could just see her grab her. It almost, obviously it doesn't look real because it's not, but it's still just it was done where it was plausible, but yet you're still looking at it, you're like, whoa, it's incredible.
But I had to go back and watch it. I was like, wait a minute, what did she just catch her? And I had to rewind. And
I had to do the same thing.
She just got her in midair. Wow.
And then poor Jim just shoots over there. Whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
Caught off guard. But that was a total Buck move, though.
It really was. And so I have so many feelings about whether I want him and Lucy to get together. Because I'm I really like Taylor, I do, but I just think they'd be so interesting as a couple. I don't know.
I'm still not team Lucy for Buck just yet. I don't know. I think that's what they're trying to kind of get everybody to feel.
Yeah.
I'm just not there yet because I just feel like they're going to be so much alike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm still holding out. I really wanted her to meet Eddie because I felt like Eddie and Buck are such good friends that I felt like maybe they would vibe. And since,
not a bad
Buck already has somebody, let her have Eddie.
I could actually see that. I could see that. And you know what? Eddie is going through so much right now. Something like that, something good and positive in his life would actually be really, really beneficial for him.
Because I feel like he needs somebody exciting. Because the poor teacher was just, she was sweet and all, but she's just really boring. And I love Eddie, but he's kind of boring too. When he gets I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I love Eddie, but he's not exciting and not I don't know, outgoing like Buck is. So I think it'd be cool if he had somebody.
Yeah.
Liven him up.
I think Eddie's just kind of, how do I say, tied down with a lot of his he's dealing with.
He needs some fun, I think. I don't know. But I really like her friendship with Monday or Jonah, whatever we want to call him. But I don't want him to go away. I like Jonah.
He did well. He did. Although I know when he was, when they were packing, he was just well, it's inevitable, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I hope they find a way to pull him back into this because I really liked him. I thought he was, I didn't think I would when I first met him because I was he's not Chimney. That's kind of how I felt, just like Ken was feeling. But I don't know. I think he was fitting in well and he seems like a nice guy. So
they made us really like him, and now you're just gonna take him away after 2 episodes? Come on.
Which I didn't think they would do that because it's you gave him a job and then so what did you just say? You know what? Never mind because Chimney's back. That doesn't seem right.
And the interesting thing is who sets the rules? How many firefighters there is in your house?
Maybe it's a budgetary thing. I guess, but I don't know. I feel like you could figure out something.
It's Los Angeles. You could, I don't know. I really feel like they'd make something work.
I think so.
Hopefully we see him again. I did like when we saw the woman that Lucy caught again, though. As the trauma surgeon. That
was really cool.
I like that.
It was just a fun way of thinking about it. All these things you've done. Like they said, think about how many people you've saved just by like the domino effect of like saving this other person, like
Indirectly. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think it was a good payoff too, because I mean, Lucy was really dealing with the fallout of that save. I mean, you think it'd be just a positive thing, right? Like he'd just be on a total high, like, woohoo, you know what I mean? Just like, but
Yeah.
I understand that, there's a process between, what, even saving somebody's life can be quote unquote traumatic,
Yeah.
and I think that she was dealing with that and how do I say, I want to say fallout, but the subsequent things that, were
Mhm.
going on after that. But I think being able to see that, she was the trauma surgeon that was there self-saving, I think that
Mhm.
kind of maybe helped her let it all sink
Yeah.
in, and
Mhm.
process, but it is cool
Mhm.
that it came full circle. I did like
Mhm.
that.
That's helpful for Buck too with Eddie.
Mhm.
I don't remember who the kid was though.
It was the mom that there was a mom who was like, it was Aunt Jenna from Vampire Diaries. This is how I remember it. That was poisoning her child to make him sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Eddie figured it out
Okay.
What was
and
it?
saved him.
Eye drops or something like that she was putting in his food?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she was like making him really sick.
Oh my gosh, I just watched a TikTok.
You don't get sued for copyright infringement.
She found out her husband was poisoning her with eye drops.
Ouch.
She set up a camera in her house and she had just baked pies and she watched her husband open the pies and dump a full thing of eye drops on
Like,
it and then close the pies again.
who would have thought eye drops? Like,
Right?
I mean,
Yeah, apparently it was causing her a lot of health issues though, because he had been doing
geez.
it for a while without her knowing.
Yeah, because it's
Very
funny
well.
because it's like you're putting an eye drop in your eye, right? So it's technically being absorbed into your body, but I guess the difference between having it absorbed and ingested is big enough of a issue to make you sick.
Yes. Just
That's
wild.
But yeah, that episode too, obviously that was hard for Eddie. I mean, obviously, well, duh. I mean, he got shot, because of all of that. But I know he's still getting better. But when I first saw the blood on his leg in that scene,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
for a second there, I thought it was maybe like, something ruptured, you know what I mean? Like an old injury or a scar or something like that, blood pressure, and poof, it broke. And then I saw the second one where he had gotten shot. I was like, oh, no, no, no. Okay, never mind.
I had totally forgotten how much Eddie had been through just in the course of us watching the show, not even talking about his time like in the military before that, until they started doing these flashbacks. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot that happened. Like, the man has been through it. Like, I'm really ready to see him like come out on the other side and like have like a good like whole season. Let's just leave him alone and let him have like a full good season of only good things happening to him.
He deserves it.
Yeah,
He
I
did.
agree.
Yep.
His nightmares really scared me.
Hmm.
I wasn't sure what was going on and I just like saw him getting shot up against the fridge. I'm like, what is happening in this house?
I know.
So
I know.
confused.
And then poor, like, I mean, all the things that like Christopher was saying to him, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so hurtful. I mean, I know that's just in his head, but I mean, I felt so bad for him.
Yep.
Man, that kid does such a good job.
I love him. I mean, I think he's the best. But I'm glad that like Eddie's like in therapy and he's like taking care of, like trying to finally take care of himself and like get it figured out.
He
And
does.
Buck, Buck's there for him. He took him and, kind of showed him just like what we were talking about, the full circle of them seeing that kid and realizing that, he's doing okay. And that's something that he was able to do. So
I like how all of the friends are coming to help him. Buck was there, Bobby was there.
I love seeing Bobby there. There's just something
normal.
about, because Bobby's been through a lot too. And I mean, just hearing him talk about his trauma and the nightmares he had after it. I was glad to see that, especially after their last fight.
Exactly.
I didn't like how that happened. So seeing them be able to be together again, but Bobby's awesome. So, I mean, there was no doubt that he wasn't going to try to help him,
Well, it was kind of funny when, I won't say funny, but it just was kind of hit kind of different when Bobby said, well, when I lost my family, it's like so much time has passed for us as viewers. And even us just watching it for a second, you almost had to pause for a minute and go realize, oh, wait, You know what I mean? He's been through probably I mean, I don't know, maybe on par with Eddie, but I mean, that's
Been through a
amazing.
lot.
How many people were killed in that fire? You know what I mean? It's just like how many people were displaced and everything from there too. So Bobby's been through a lot. So he's a good how do I say, role model or sounding board, for a lot of these guys.
Absolutely.
And I can imagine, being a firefighter in itself has got to be mentally trying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I mean, just the things that you probably see, that those images that just stick with you. I mean, it's got to be just awful.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, just the thought that every day you're going to wake up and there's a possibility that you're going to run into a burning building that you might not run out of.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care who you are. You can be the toughest dude in the world.
Right. That's scary though.
Most, resolved individual on the planet. You're still going to have that level of question, what's going to happen on the way out,
Yeah. Oh my God. And that scene with him, like, thank God, like she was paying attention to that poor guy that gets stuck in like that, donation bin. That was the craziest. That like scared me to think about. I was like, why? Don't reach in there. Like, I don't know. I got really stressed.
When I saw him reaching for those keys, I mean, we all knew where that was going. I mean, it was like, oh yeah, he's going to get stuck in there. But I don't know. It was so frustrating because I'm watching this guy do it. And it's like, he had to know, but at the same time, I'm thinking,
what else would you do though? Like, I don't know how you would get them out. Like, I mean, in my head, I'm thinking like, I wouldn't do that because I'd be afraid of that exact same thing happening. But at the same time, like,
what do you do?
You can't go anywhere. You just dropped your keys. Like, I mean, could you call? I mean, who would you call? Like, because I'm not even sure if the people inside, depending on what kind of donation box it is, would they even have a key? Like, would they have a way of getting into it? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, most likely the people at the bowling alley wouldn't have a key. It's just a third party that would have it. But they could have, something that could break that lock, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I probably would have attempted to reach for them, and instead of shifting my body weight so far forward,
maybe get something like to reach down in there. Like, I don't know.
And the other thing too, that there were so many people that came by. There was even that guy on the bike, you know what I mean? That was like, I'm like, okay. Like the guy on the bike, like he could have, I don't know, maybe heard him, but I know it was hours going by too. So it was like, and you never know, this guy could have been dehydrated too, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. If he's not feeling right, he's not always yelling and screaming, so you can't always hear him. But
it looked like he was in pretty bad shape when they found him.
Yeah. Well, I was annoyed that like the car alarm going off, like no one in the bowling alley, like, I mean, this car alarm's been going off for hours and no one's even like, I feel like in my head, I would be like, where's the person that owns this car? Is something wrong? Like I don't know.
They've done studies on that. Nobody pays attention to those anymore. It's become so common and so just background noise that a car alarm going off.
I guess especially we're in LA. So this is a totally different ball game than where I live, like so.
I've only ever used my car alarm to find it in the grocery parking lot.
Bingo. Same here. I think that's everybody. I have not seen a single car alarm ever go off and it was caused by somebody trying to tamper with a vehicle. Never in my life.
True.
It's always been, oops, I pushed the button, or or maybe
I'm trying to get back into my own car. Let me in.
In fact, actually, I did that the other day. It was so funny. I locked my Jeep and I went to grab the door, and the other door, the handle hadn't completely caught. So the door opened, and sure enough, the alarm went off. But it was me, and I just hit the button and it stopped. I don't know. I still feel like those things would have some way of opening, or at least being able to pull that little door down.
Really should.
If they don't, and you are the manufacturer of these donation boxes, please take our advice.
Yeah, I mean, like make a
Put a
release
handle on the inside.
A handle on the inside, some sort of release button, just like in your trunk. There's a little something to release if like you were to get stuck in your trunk. I mean, I don't know where that thing is. I've just heard that it's there. Like somebody's talked about that there's some sort of release. I don't know.
Yeah, the trunk. Yeah, they have a little handle.
It glows in the dark too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see,
I've actually been in my truck.
No, I've not been in mine, so I'm not really sure where it is.
And I love the fact that it was just so much of like a coincidence, right? That they ended up, being there for for Hen to hear them.
Mhm.
I think that, I don't know, she's just got such great instinct.
She
You know what I
does.
mean? It's just like when she heard that thud thud thud, she didn't have to process it. She already knew there was something off. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just like, because I feel like some people, they would just hear it and be like,
Mm.
whatever, I missed it, right? But Hen is just sharp, and she's like, I know she's already going, it was already going through her head, like, oh, there's somebody in one of those boxes. You know what I mean? That scenario,
Yeah.
I think I've been watching too much true crime because my first thought was, oh my God, he's going to find a dead body.
Right. I mean, that crossed my mind too. Like,
Well, I think that's probably what Bobby was thinking. It was like, what do we got? And the stop sign lady. Oh
oh
man.
my gosh.
Like,
At first, okay, I'm gonna be honest. At first, when the lady's like on her bike driving down the road, I'm getting really annoyed at her because my biggest pet peeve is, and I mean, you know what, if you want to bike and you want to do that, great. But it really annoys me when you are on like a country road that's like a well-traveled country road and there's nowhere for us to get around you, because sometimes you come up on hills and you don't see them. And then I'm afraid I'm going to run somebody over because they're like just out there like a car would be. And it drives me nuts. But then I felt bad after thinking that when I saw what happened to her.
Yeah. Yeah. So back out where my grandparents live, there's a lot of bike clubs, like bicycle clubs, that love to take some of these back roads. And when I say small back roads, I'm talking about like they're normally the size of the width of a car, right? But you just make it through if there's more than one car.
Yeah, you just have to scoot over really far. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like one of those things, and they get filled with bikes. And it's like, so then you got to just be patient and deal with it. Well, I get it. It's not every day, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But I don't understand some of these people that they complain about not sharing the road, but at the same time, like this lady, she's literally driving or riding her bike on the yellow line, through several parts of those scenes. And it's like, and I'm sure they do that to exaggerate, but the thing is that there really are people that are like that out there. And it's just like, come on, yeah, I did feel kind of bad, for after what had happened, but at the same time, I'm like, lady, if you kind of had just been nice and pulled just a little bit over to the side,
so
none of this would have happened. Yeah, they would have just gone around you peacefully and wouldn't have hit those speed bumps at a high rate of speed. Like, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, but
I thought she was going to get, I thought somebody was going to like viciously do something to her, is where I thought this was going.
Yeah, I thought the truck was going to like run her over.
The stop sign shocked me. Like, I did not expect that to happen.
No. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too when I saw the truck. I was like, oh, great. So now they're going to turn this into, kind of a, how do
bumper cars.
A bumper cars, exactly, right? And she becomes a victim, perpetrator kind of situation. And I'm like, oh, man. And then the sign just flew out. And I was just like, oh, well, we know what's happening there. The moment you just see that thing shift, it's like, is it going to be her head? Or is she going to be like, completely severed? Yeah. I was thinking the worst.
Shocking that she survived that, though. Like, I don't know. Sometimes the stuff they do on the show, I'm like, oh my God, like, are they going to live? Like, would someone really live if that happened? Like, these are the things that go through my head. Like,
I think for most of this, the answer is no.
Exactly. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so scary.
Not after that.
Not after that. And Hen getting that thing out too. I know Jiminy was like, well, I forgot the name of the equipment or whatever that he was talking about. But I thought that was a nice little kind of how do I say, like, nod to the fact that he's been gone for a little bit. Yeah. Like, hey, we got upgraded equipment. He's like, oh, what? Yeah. I guess he can't quite go home again. You know what I mean? Not to exactly the same way, but at least it's way improvement. But then of course she's got then Athena has to go and find these individuals.
Yeah, and that I felt so off. I mean, because these kids, like, I mean, they were taking these signs and just not even thinking about the consequences, which first off, stupid. I mean, like, I don't really know why you want to think about this. And then kind of karma. I don't want to say that like to be mean, but like, you took a stop sign and this guy didn't know to stop and you get run over. Like,
I think there was like, I think what it was I mean, I guess karma is the right word, but it's like,
I feel bad saying it because these are kids, but
yeah,
still.
but actions have consequences, right? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And it's just kind of, I think that's one of the things that they were kind of trying to portray. And I think you see it on both sides, which I think was kind of good because it was fair. So, like, if she had just simply moved over, she probably wouldn't got hit by the sign. If they hadn't been pulling the signs off, he definitely wouldn't have gotten hit by the car,
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I think it was just kind of karma on both
Yeah.
sides. It just, not saying that two wrongs make a right, not at
Yeah.
all, but still, it's kind of, but
Yeah,
I
but
felt bad
no.
for the kid getting hit,
Yeah.
but I felt even worse for the driver of that car.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
He looked so miserable. Like, oh my gosh, I could have just killed someone. Not his fault at all.
No, but you would still, but you would still carry that, and that would be awful,
And I guess if you're not familiar with the area, you're not going to know that, hey, there's normally a stop sign there, you're just going to blow right through it, and keep
Yeah.
going. And of course he was running. So, I mean, it was just kind of hard. I mean, you can't really do much to avoid that, if you're still going through, and of course I live in Texas. So dumb stuff like stealing signs and things like that happen a lot. But I think because most of these areas are more rural.
Yeah, same here. Kids get bored and they do dumb stuff,
Half of the signs outside the city limits are damaged, either have gunshot, pellets through them, or,
Yeah.
missing, in some places, that kind of thing. And so
Same.
it's just kind of the way it is. But if you're in the middle of Los Angeles, big difference.
Yeah.
It's a bad place to not have stop signs.
Oh man, I felt so bad for Athena, like when and I knew exactly what she was thinking. I mean, maybe that's the mom, I don't know, but like as soon as she saw that shoe, I knew she was thinking that somehow she was thinking about Harry, and that, it could easily be him, because I feel like we always put our kids in these positions when we see terrible things that happen, thinking about that. But we don't see Athena shook very often and like upset about something. So like that was different.
I've seen there's a very poignant like mental health theme throughout this episode.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the, I think that was her kind of moment, because she's still having to deal with everything from the trauma that they've done with their home invasion and kidnapping and everything else, and then seeing this, and it's just going to bring back all those memories. And so that's trauma, but also that leads to the mental health side of it.
And then Maddie, this poor lady, she's finally getting back into the groove of being a mom and like taking care of G, and then this happens and she has to be taken to the ER. Like,
yeah,
I feel bad for that too.
But luckily she got her there quickly. She was a great mom.
Yeah.
Got her to the doctor on time and got her right to the ER.
Right.
I would have been just like her freaking out, but
yeah. And she's blaming herself by her family history, thinking that this, is caused by like something worse than it was, thankfully.
I thought Jim was trying to calm her down.
Yeah. I'm almost hoping that they kind of use that as a way of getting, Chin and Maddie back together. That'd be,
yeah. Because I wasn't on the podcast last week, but I listened to you all talk about it, and I'm so upset by them not being together. Like, we waited a really long time to see them reunited.
I know, that's what I was saying.
Now they're not together. Like, are you kidding me? They're like my favorite couple on the show. Like, this is not okay.
It kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. It just kind of was like, come on, because I just feel like he did so much. He went through, he took care of the kid. He looked for her, everything else like that. And then that's all it took, a car ride
Yeah.
back to decide that, hey, this isn't going to work.
Yeah. I mean, it'd been different if like, you had said like, if Maddie had been like, I need some time to just readjust to being a mom, but like, we're not cutting this off. I just needed some time to just get myself adjusted. And then we'll see what happens from there. Like, I feel like that would have made more sense. That would have been more logical. Cause obviously you two still love each other. Like, I don't understand why you're not together. It doesn't make sense.
You can tell that they still really care for each other.
And it's not like you had some big fight that led to a breakup. I mean, like she had a mental health crisis that has now been solved, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It feels like, you know what it feels like? It feels like when you invest in a television show and then all of a sudden it just gets canceled out of nowhere.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like, well, that was over. Okay, that was worth it.
Yeah.
Maybe not. You know what I mean? It's just like kind of like,
Yeah.
what in the world? So I do hope they bring them back together.
Mhm. I think they will. I think so. I hope so.
I hope so.
I will say this though, I'm not a huge fan of Maddie. I mean, just because of everything, but I mean, I get it. She's been through a heck of a lot. So I mean, I
Yeah.
have to give her credit for that, being strong through a lot of that.
Mhm.
But it felt like I don't know, it just felt like Jimmy deserved better than just a car ride's worth of decision.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I would agree. I mean, I'm not sure how we come to this conclusion that you guys aren't good together. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So, but maybe they'll
I mean, they were
maybe
great
that
together
season
before,
ends.
so
Better work it out. We don't have many couples on the show for me to like get invested in. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna need y'all to stay together. I like the romance parts of my shows. I guess what next week looks eventful, I think. I mean, there's something about like a kid that falls through I don't know, like I didn't. It was so quick. That's the thing about their previews. I
Yeah.
feel like everything is so fast that you barely get to see anything. But there's a child that falls through something, and they've got to rescue her. And then what else was it? There was a lady in her sauna that like somehow falls and like burns her
Yeah.
flesh, which
her
gross.
face was like seared
Um,
to the sauna rocks. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
Ouch.
And then we
That
get to see
smelled
more
good.
May. May, I mean, we haven't seen her like very much lately, so
Mm.
I'm glad to see her again. And she's sort of questioning her life choices, which kind of I was like, okay, well, I mean, you're like 20, so I mean, it's not
Right.
like you've made a whole lot of life choices so far, but that's okay. I mean, is she gonna maybe leave the call center and will this give Maddie a way back in? Because I
Ooh.
love May and all, but I want Maddie back at the call center. Like,
Mhm.
I will agree with that. I will agree with that. I like having Maddie at the call center. I think that's important. I think that's a key that they needed to get back in, because maybe that's kind of one of the reasons why she just doesn't feel right. It just
yeah.
doesn't fit right, because she's not in the environment that we first, met her in, and
Mhm.
kind of feels right. I mean, maybe she's not in her groove.
Yeah. So maybe that's how that'll,
I'd love to see that.
yeah. Which I don't know what May would do, but
Take
we'll see. She's got her whole life ahead of her. She'll figure it out. So now I guess we can talk about Lone Star. It feels like so long since I've watched these. I'm really having to rack my brain to remember exactly what happened. So
I know. I just saw
So-
the other day, but this one, oh boy.
yeah.
Talking about angry guy in the drive-through.
Yes.
Again,
It
so
was-
here we go back with the mental illness, or
Mhm.
mental health, I should say.
Mhm.
Uh,
Look, Angry Man, I was
Oh,
with him
man.
in the drive-through though. When the guy told his wife
Oh,
that
yeah.
she didn't need more chicken nuggets, I was like, hold on now. Don't tell me how many chicken nuggets I need. Like if
Yeah.
I want if I want this many, like give them to me. So the kid was super rude. Like
Oh yeah.
I'm not someone who, I mean, I'm not the person that like I don't have anger issues. I let things go. But I feel like this kid would even get me riled up in how disrespectful he was being.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you 100%.
Mm.
That kid literally had no right being there or working in that service facility at
No.
all, period. And not to go off into it, but I mean, I hate to say this, but there are really people that are like that, and they have jobs like that.
Yeah.
And it just, it angers me to no end. And yeah, I mean, honestly, at that point, I think jumping through the window was
That's a little
probably
excessive.
a little
Yeah.
excessive, but technically was on par with the amount of aggression that kid was giving.
Yes.
If
I
his
agree
was
with that.
verbal, not physical,
Mhm.
so I don't know. I mean, obviously, as we learn as the episode goes on, he really does have troubles with with anger issues. But I mean, even still at the end there, when he gives him the the bag and calls him a name, I'm like, really, dude? And then finally at that point, the manager's, pulling the kid off.
Yeah.
It's just like, nah.
I was really mad at the manager also for like letting those people sit there and film this. Like, get out of here. Like,
his only concern was who's paying for this.
I hate to say it, but that's a very Austin thing. I just feel like, I love Austin, Texas. It's one of my favorite cities, but I just feel like that was a very plausible situation.
Well, I think it's probably everywhere. I get so annoyed at like videos that I see of people like filming things that are embarrassing. Like, it really makes me upset when I see people, because I'm like, I would never think to stop and like film someone's humiliation. Like, it bothers me a lot that people want to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but what happens is it gets views, and that's what happens.
I know.
There was a video of a lady that had her kid at the zoo, and she's taking a picture or video of her kid standing in front of the exhibit that had camels. And Camel walks over, reaches over the fence, grabs the kid's head, like just literally puts the kid's entire head in the camel's mouth. And the lady's still filming and like laughing. And I'm like, what?
You're not worried about your kid? Like,
exactly. It's like,
oh my gosh.
Oh, but that video went viral.
Of course it did, though.
So it's like, wow, guys, So I think that's what happens now. I think a lot of people, they think that, this is my claim to fame.
I don't get it. I mean, I'm sounding like a really old woman here talking about how I don't understand these kids.
No, you have a valid point, but in a real situation, they should just shut that entire place down. And why didn't Owen do that? Like, Owen could have had the authority to say, okay, everybody out of here. We're shutting these doors,
I have expected them to eventually do that, and they never did. So that kind of, I don't know. I didn't like it too much.
Yeah.
Because I felt so bad for him. It was so embarrassing to be like stuck like that.
Yeah. Honestly, after the comment about his wife, I was kind of on his side for that.
Exactly. Like, don't tell me how many nuggets I can eat. Mess with a woman and her chicken nuggets. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was on his side most of the time. I mean, he took it too far each time, but like the wrestling match, again, like, you're being a jerk. Like,
yeah, I get that. And I think
that you shouldn't physically assault someone. No, of course not. But
no, but if he had no other option, it should have been the dad, not the kid. The dad was the one that was egging on the kid. But that's the thing. It's like, that level of aggression, he could have converted into some sort. I mean, I know verbal is still bad, but in a way that was encouraging to the son. I mean, it's a wrestling match. You know what I mean? You got to get the individual pumped up. You got to get them pumped up and full of adrenaline, to fight back. That's the point, But at the same time, it's just kind of one of those things where it just, how do you draw the line?
I was really confused why he attacked the kid instead of the kid's dad.
Agreed. I think the poor man, I don't know. He eventually is trying to do the right thing, and he's like on the little trip with his family. He's being so good, and then just gets provoked. I mean, I'm not laughing because it wasn't funny, obviously, but like, it was a little bit. And then just like, I mean, this poor guy, he's really trying to do better. And then
they were on their way to therapy for anger management.
I know.
It was so funny because, and again, not funny, but just ironic because I mean, the dude really, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, that was the dude's gun. That was the gun that the guy had, right? He picked that up off maybe I looked down, I didn't see him do it if they showed it, but it's just like, how ironic, that it was his own gun,
He just had enough.
Yeah, and I think it's with some people too. You can get pushed to your, to your limit. You can only handle so much.
Yeah. I mean, see, my husband has road rage, and I get onto him all the time about it because I'm scared that someone else has worse road rage, and you are going to push them to their limits, and they're going to do something wild and crazy. You never know.
And obviously, this is Texas. So, it's like everybody and their grandmother quite literally has a firearm in their vehicle. It's just a way of life. It's just the way it is, I still remember walking out of the Walmart, and there's trucks with shotguns in the back, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's what we do here too.
It's our way of life. Now I know you know, in other places in the world, it doesn't seem, you know, logical or right, but it's just the way it is, you know. And you know, in this case, it's just kind of, I guess he really had enough and saw the opportunity. That just makes me wonder, you know, I mean, obviously there was no way he can plead any kind of self-defense because there was not any danger.
No.
It's just like, you know, what do you do? But I mean, at least I'm sure he's gonna get the help he needs. I mean, he's gonna be incarcerated probably for majority or maybe even the rest of his life, but he'll get the help he needs.
But I liked also how we were tying that back to Owen and
Yeah.
his rage issues. I kept laughing when they were talking about that, and Owen's face is just like, because everybody's kind of looking at him like, yeah, you kind of had those issues as well,
Mhm.
which
And
he does. I mean, Owen
really does.
needs to get it under control.
he does, and he doesn't see it. I mean, obviously that's the point they were trying to get across, and I get it. It's like it's almost becomes I don't want to say a catch-22, but like a vicious circle, because the more you tell somebody they have a problem and they don't see it, especially if it's an anger problem, the worse it gets.
To make them
Because
angry.
exactly, you just make them angry, and it just makes it worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why him witnessing what happened when somebody gets pushed to their limit, I'm sure was an extremely sobering moment for him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if I was in that situation, I know it would be for me. It'd just be like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, you need a little bit of help, you know, that kind of thing. And I was happy that that we finally got to see Catherine again. I'm like, yes, Amy Acker.
Yeah, I really like her.
And
I like that she didn't just like take him back. Like, I mean, she's gonna make him work for this. And I liked it.
No, I like that. And I love the fact that, you know, what was the last thing she said? She goes, you know, don't call me until you see a therapist, but I do hope you call. And I'm like, yes, this is right. That's healthy. That's the way to do it. You know, it's like, so often I think people just be like, you know, no, that's it, whatever.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. But I think it's a good thing, because I would love to see her become a series regular, you know, to be a part of, you know, Owen's life. I think that would be great. I think he needs that, you know, that stability.
They're really good together too. Like, they complement each other very well.
They do.
Extremely well. So I think she's a good add to the show and a good add for him. And you know, and let's hope he gets the help that
hopefully.
And I think he is, because I mean, I think like I love the talk he had with the team, like after all of that, sort of just taking ownership of everything. And so I think he's on the right track here to do what he needs to do to get healthy.
Yeah, and it looked like he did call his therapist and set up a meeting, so it's good. You know, he's taking her advice.
I mean, I don't want him to lose all of his spunk, because that's part of what makes Owen, but you just need to stop punching people, you know, like.
But I do enjoy when he randomly punches people.
I kind of do too, but it's not healthy, so I guess he shouldn't. That cop.
When are any of the men we like healthy?
Well, that's all. I know. Here's the problem, Tiffany. We do not like healthy men. Not on TV, anyways. You know.
You know, he just needs to start a fight club. You know, an underground fight club on 6th Street in Austin. It'll be perfect. It'll get all the.
Perfect.
There you go.
There you go. Problem solved.
Easy peasy. You'll get all the aggression out during the night.
Eddie was a part of something like that on the other one, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Something like that, which it wasn't really good for him either, though. So maybe that's not.
No. I forgot about that. I
did too till you just said that.
Yeah, that was not a very healthy outlet for him.
No, so maybe Owen shouldn't do that. Maybe it'll make it worse.
I retract my statement.
I
was really shocked by Tommy this week.
Yeah, the twins.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. When Uncle Julius showed up at the twins' birthday, I mean, that was just a storyline I wasn't expecting. That, you know, here, I mean, she's got something like really against him. Like, and I was like, gosh, I wonder what in the world it could be. But I'm glad that she finally called him. I mean, I get her point of view. And I mean, if this guy didn't show up to his brother's funeral and just hadn't been around, I feel like I would feel a little upset as well.
Yeah.
But seeing how much like the girls love him, I'm glad that she decided to give him a second chance.
Yeah, I am a big fan of Tommy. I really like how she kind of just took charge, you know. Well, I'm a big fan of Gina Torres. I've been, following her since she was in Firefly, and then
Yeah.
Suits, and a bunch of other stuff. And she's just such a strong, powerful person. It's just it just her presence alone, you know what I mean? She doesn't have to say anything. And it seems like, I think that's just her, and it bleeds into her characters. You know what I mean? It's just kind of how it seems. And so, like, even when she was just like, and you're not gonna meet him, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like she was
Right.
She was determined, that kind of thing. But I get it, I did I mean, I can see it from the twin standpoint. I mean, that's their own goal.
Yeah.
You want them to have a relationship with their family, but
yeah. And then when we hear his side of it too, that he was there and that he just couldn't do it, like I understand that too, so I mean, I feel for him, and I understand. And I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if I'm gonna sound weird, I really kind of liked their kiss, and I was like, this is awkward and weird, but why do I like it? I don't know.
I'm still, you want to know the truth? I'm still processing that. I really, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that's going. I don't know.
Well,
but I think they handle it like adults. I mean,
yeah. I don't think it's over though.
No, I
think
not by a long shot.
And I mean, I know, Josh, you don't get it, but it might be because Julius was hot. And so I was like, kind of like understanding. I was like, okay. Yeah, poor girl.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, well, that is a valid point, and I also agree. But they have really good chemistry together.
They did, and I think that's my problem. Like, I mean, I know it's definitely weird. I'm not saying that it's not weird. And in real life, I would be like, no, that's gross. Like, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But on TV, I'm like, let's do it. I like it.
It's a television show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just I understand what you're saying. I don't know. It was just kind of awkward.
It was definitely out of left field. Like, I didn't expect it to go there.
Not expecting that.
But once it went there, I was like, okay.
I'm not mad.
Exactly.
Right. And it was funny because it's like, it makes me question some of her motive also, because it's like, where is the tension? Where's it originating from?
I thought that too. But it may be one of those situations, like maybe the tension was there, but maybe you didn't even realize that's why the tension was there. So, I mean, I hope they don't. I mean, I wouldn't want that, because I don't want anything to like mess up what her and Charles had. Like, I don't want to change that story of how much in love they were. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens from that.
In real life, stuff like that does happen where
it's not uncommon for you to lean on someone that also loved them like you loved them, right? So I mean, you see it with best friends. I mean, we see that on This Is Us, and we've talked about it potentially happening on The Resident, so I mean, I think sometimes that happens, and it makes sense why it happens. So
I think the heart, how they say the heart, wants to fill that longing hole, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. And it's just kind of I don't want to say, because it's not like, how do I say this without sounding dumb? It's like, it's not the next best thing. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's what I'm, it's not.
Well, I think it's someone that just understands the love that you had for them, and so you can sort of bond over that.
It's the closest thing, right? In other words, they had a love almost as close as you did to that individual, so it almost closer to them again. Yeah.
I like that they finally made up though, and she offered for him to come back, stay with them whenever he's in town,
which that's I feel like might not be a good idea.
That's true. It might not be good, but the girls will like that.
They will. Yeah.
I think her offering him the guest room was kind of like just leaving the door open for a lot of things. Yeah.
I tell you what, though, that was not the only unexpected like romantic moment in this. I did not see, maybe I'm blind, I didn't see anything like happening between Mateo and Nancy, but now there's like a vibe, and I'm like, what?
No, there has been little hints here and there.
How have I missed them?
They're minute. We've seen them. I mean, they're Tiffany, you're agreeing with me, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, they've been very, very small. And then I love the way she was like, what I forgot exactly her words, but she was just like, it was like, like almost like she was like trying to say like finally, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like she was so excited.
Yeah.
I know. No, but I'm like super excited. I mean, like I love those two characters. I really do. So I'd love to see them together. Like that would be so awesome.
I'm all about it. I mean, I don't know. It was never in my head, but like I've been wanting Mateo to have someone because I think he's just like the sweetest human being ever. And I like Nancy too. So I think it's fun.
Everybody needs a Mateo in their life. 100%. Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I hope that something comes beyond just beyond a date, that kind of thing. It's like maybe they, start dating versus just.
I've been waiting for this since the airplane episode.
How did I not see this?
They touched hands.
Maybe I kind of.
The first thing we saw was they touched hands.
It was very.
They like looked at each other. Yeah, we've only been getting really small ones. They're not giving us much, but maybe they'll give us more now.
That's what I get when I multitask and try to do things while I watch. I miss it apparently.
But now we actually have to think of a ship name for Nancy and Mateo.
Mateo or Mancy?
I kind of like Nancy.
I like Mancy. Okay, Nancy it is. We shall henceforth and forever be known as Mancy.
Nancy. Like it. Let's do it.
That should be the name of this episode, podcast episode. Nancy.
I like it.
Next week's episode, they didn't show us a whole lot.
I don't know what's happening.
Just a bunch of fire.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all I saw was
a fire next week. That's all we got.
Yeah.
Well, that does bode well with a show about firemen. So.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. I watched it 3 times trying to see if I could just grab a snippet of what's happening, and I'm like, I don't know. There's fire.
Yeah, it was pretty.
5 times. I watched it 5 times, and I still had nothing to write other than preview fire.
Fire.
So they left us in suspense because it's a big fire. Maybe that I don't know. We shall have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So I guess that's it. Let's see. I'm really bad at this. I don't have any idea what's on the schedule coming up next, but it'll be good stuff. So come back and check that out. Come check out our Facebook group for 911. It's just 911 Family Fan Club. We do lots of fun stuff in there, and we have ways to talk about the episodes as they're airing. So come join and hang out with us, and that's it. Bye guys.
Bye-bye.
For our listeners craving more, you can search for all 16 of our groups on Facebook by searching Family Fan Club. Come on over and join the conversation. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok under Fandom Family Chats. We try to always make sure to have something that will entertain. Of course, we'd also love your feedback, the good and any bad. And you can provide that by emailing us at familyfanclub2021@gmail.com. Keep an eye out for our website coming soon, where you'll be able to buy FFC merch and merch about some of your favorite TV shows with some favorite sayings and images. We're also working toward hosting a Comic-Con style event in 2024 where some of your favorite fandoms, cast, crew, and fans alike will come together for a fun-filled weekend. You can find those announcements on our website coming at you soon. Keep watching and listening, and as always, don't forget to share and subscribe.